Long ago, in the heart of the peaceful village of Umuaka, there existed an ancient tradition that had been passed down through generations. Whenever a king died without choosing a successor, the throne would not automatically pass to a prince or a nobleman. Instead, the strongest and bravest young men from across the land would gather to compete in the great wrestling festival. The victor would earn the honor of becoming the next king. Among the villagers lived a young farmer named Obinna. Obinna was not wealthy, nor was he born into royalty. He spent his days working under the hot sun, cultivating his farm and providing for his family. Though his life was simple, he was known throughout the village for his kindness, humility, and determination. One year, the old king passed away without naming an heir. As the village mourned, the elders announced that the ancient tradition would once again decide who would wear the royal crown. Soon, warriors from neighboring villages began arriving in Umuaka. They were powerful men with impressive reputations. Some were taller, stronger, and far more experienced than anyone the villagers had ever seen. When Obinna announced that he would also enter the competition, the villagers could not help but laugh. "A farmer wants to become king," they mocked. "He doesn't stand a chance against those warriors." But Obinna paid no attention to their words. He simply smiled and continued preparing for the challenge ahead. At last, the day of the great wrestling festival arrived. The arena was filled with excited spectators. Drums echoed through the village as competitors stepped forward to prove their strength. The matches began. One after another, wrestlers entered the arena. To everyone's surprise, Obinna continued to win. He was not the biggest competitor. He was not the strongest. But he possessed something many others lacked: patience, discipline, and an unbreakable determination to succeed. With every victory, the crowd became more amazed. The laughter that once followed him slowly disappeared. In its place grew admiration and respect. Eventually, only two competitors remained: Obinna and Okoro, the undefeated giant. Okoro was feared throughout the region. He was enormous, powerful, and had never lost a wrestling match. As the two men faced each other in the arena, the crowd believed the contest was already decided. Surely the giant would win. Surely the farmer's journey had come to an end. The championship match began. The two wrestlers collided with tremendous force. Dust rose into the air as the crowd watched in suspense. Again and again they struggled. Neither man was willing to surrender. Minutes felt like hours. Obinna fought with everything he had, but the giant's strength seemed impossible to overcome. Exhausted and bruised, Obinna began to lose hope. Then suddenly he remembered something his father had once told him. A true champion wins first in his mind. The words echoed within him. At that moment, Obinna realized that victory was not determined by size or strength alone. It was determined by courage, by belief, by refusing to give up when others expected you to fail. With renewed determination, he gathered every ounce of strength remaining in his body. Then, in one incredible moment, he executed a perfect wrestling move. The mighty Okoro was lifted off the ground and thrown into the dust. The arena fell silent. No one could believe what they had just witnessed. The undefeated giant had been defeated, and the humble farmer had achieved the impossible. Moments later, the silence was broken by thunderous cheers. The crowd erupted with excitement. Villagers shouted Obinna's name. Some laughed with joy. Others wept with pride. Even Okoro rose to his feet and offered his respect to the young champion. That evening, as the sun painted the sky with shades of gold and orange, the elders gathered for a grand ceremony. Before the entire village, they placed the royal crown upon Obinna's head. The farmer had become king, but becoming king was only the beginning of his journey. Unlike many rulers before him, King Obinna governed with wisdom, fairness, and compassion. He listened to his people. He cared for the poor. He encouraged hard work and unity throughout the kingdom. Under his leadership, the farms flourished, the markets prospered, and peace spread throughout the land. Years later, the people of Umuaka still remembered the day when an ordinary farmer became their king. Parents shared the story with their children. Elders told it beside evening fires. And generation after generation learned the same powerful lesson. Never underestimate a person with courage, because greatness is not determined by where you come from. It is determined by the character you carry within you. For determination can achieve what strength alone cannot. And that is the story of Obinna, the wrestler who became king.